Hello there everyone, and welcome to another edition of Lydia's Crafty Corner with me, Lydia, in my little crafty corner. So today we are going to be doing some beautifully vibrant rainbow ink blending. So to start with, I am going to be using the Captivating Blooms stamp set. You can see that we have this large kind of floral cluster on this one, and mostly just flowers. There are a couple of leaves and stems too. So what I'm going to do is I am going to stamp this onto a piece of white cardstock using some obsidian ink. So I'm going to do this twice, so I have two floral clusters for both of the cards. So I'm just going to stamp that into place. I'm then going to take some crystal clear embossing powder. Now this is going to stick to the wet pigment ink that we have from the obsidian, and then I'm just going to heat set that, and that's going to give me a beautifully bold outline, and it's also not going to smudge when I do my ink blending because it's nicely kind of trapped in under the embossing. So once that's done, I'm then going to take the coordinating stencils for the Captivating Blooms stamp set. I'm then going to take the first stencil, and for this time round I'm going to pop this into place, and I'm going to be adding some really light colours through it. So I'm going with the pink diamond. I'm then going to use some Sunray in that centre part that we have, kind of a rainbow kind of theme here. And then once I'm done with that one, I'm then going to go with some Mountain Mist. So I'm only using kind of 3 colours for this to get all of those different shades that we have. I'm also going to add a little bit of blue at the top of the pink, and also a tiny bit of pink to the bottom of the blue, and that's going to give like a purple look on either end of this. So once I have done that first stencil, I'm then going to move on to the second one, and this time around I'm going to kind of keep going in the strips of colour that I already have there. This time around I have the Pinkalicious. I then have this very pretty chamomile ink here, and I'm then going to move on to the kind of lagoony colours, and I'm going to be using the Mountain Mist for the third part over here. And then as before, to kind of get more of that rainbow theme, I will add a little bit of blue to the top, the same blue that I used at the bottom, and then the pink as well. I'm just going to add in this little stem piece from the second stencil, just using those same inks that I used that time around. And then going to move on to the third stencil. This time I'm going to go in with the very pretty Rubellite. I can then move on to the Snapdragon for my kind of yellowy oranges that we have in the center. And then I'm going to be using Lagoon on the bottom part. And as before, I will be adding a little bit of that Lagoon to the top of that pink color that we can see there to kind of get that purple tone. And I will also be adding a little bit of that Rubellite to the bottom petals on the blue side as well, again to kind of keep going with that theme. So once that's been done, I'm then going to add in the little leaves that we had on this stencil, again just using the colours that I have out, so these are the darker ones. Alright, so once that has been done, we have the last stencil. So this is stencil number 4. Now I've moved back to the really light colours that we used on the first stencil, but because I had quite a bit of ink left on my little blending tools, it is slightly darker than I would have hoped it to be, but it still looks really, really good. So this time around we have the Pink Pearl, the Sunray, and also the Mountain Mist at the bottom there. This stencil here also has some little kind of other petals in here, and I'm just going to go with the colours that I have out just to add the petals in. Then we have the little stems, but this time I did go in for the darker colours, so that was the Snapdragon and also the Lagoon, just to add in those stem pieces. Now I did that twice, so we have 2 of these very pretty kind of rainbow ink blended images, and then once I had those, I just took my scissors and I fussy cut around both of these, just leaving a little bit of a white border around them. So now I have these very pretty fussy cut images. I just love how these look. Now I just want to add these onto my card bases in a different way to give them a slightly different look for each of them. So for the first one, I'm just going to pop this into place. I can then take my scissors and then cut off any overhanging pieces that I have from behind, and that's just really pretty as it is there. Now I wanted this one to look different than the one that we've done, so again I've added some foam tape behind, and I'm going to stick this onto a white card base as well, but this time I'm going to stick half of it on one side. I'm then going to trim using some larger scissors from behind, and I'm then going to take that piece that I've just trimmed off and add that at the top. Now because we added the little bit of pink onto the blue and then the blue onto the pink, that kind of give us a more of a rainbow theme on the purple sides on the edges. So this is really going to pull in that kind of rainbow look a lot easier with those purple tinges that we have on the edges. So once I have both of the card bases complete with those beautiful, beautiful pieces that we've just created, I'm then going to go ahead and create my sentiments. So I'm using the Monstera and Quotes stamp set, and I'm going to take 2 of the long sentiments from here. So I have See You and Take Care. So I'm just going to pop them onto a block, just making sure that they're nice and straight so I can stamp these into place onto that black cardstock that I have. I'm just going to stamp these using some of the embossing ink from Altenew. Add a little bit of the pure white embossing powder over the top and then heat set those. Once they have been heat set, I did trim those down, so I have little sentiment strips here. I've also added a little bit of foam tape behind these, and I'm just playing around to see where I think these are going to work best on the card bases. Once that's done, I can remove the backing off the foam tape and then pop those into place. Just to bring in that black a little bit more, I'm just going to use some jet black enamel dots and pop those around. I did do a cluster of 2 and a cluster of 3 on each of the cards. And you can see just how pretty they are here. I am in love with these. So I really do hope that you like the cards and that you've enjoyed the video too. If you do create a card or 2 like this, it would be great if you do share because we would love to see. Thank you so much for watching, everyone, and we'll see you again really, really soon. Bye-bye. Hello there, crafty friend, Lydia here. Just popping in to say that you can get your daily dose of crafting tips, techniques, and tutorials just like this by subscribing to the Altenew YouTube channel. All you need to do is click on that little bell up there and you will never miss a video. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.